Hello, this is Dan Farisi, Group Editor, Commercial and Security with Emerald. So excited to be joined today by my friend Melody Craigmyle, who is VP, Marketing and Communication with Exertis Almo. Topic of conversation is, of course, the E4 experience, the award-winning Exertis Almo E4 experience. I've been privileged, delighted to attend so many. I'm going to be attending another one this coming spring. We invited Melody on to talk about all that is exciting, all that is new, all that is still there and beloved about the Exertis Almo E4 experience. Thank you so much, Melody, for joining us and giving us the inside scoop, what we can all look forward to in the weeks and months ahead.
Yeah, great. Thanks, Dan, for having me on the show. I really appreciate it.
My pleasure. So as Exertis Almo kicks off the 2024 E4 Experience events, two exciting spring season offerings, I'd love to just get an overview from you, Melody, on why these events provide value, not only to Exertis Almo's partners, and I know you're a very partner-centric organization, but also the broader industry, your own organization. These are real value adders, and I'd love for you to just kind of describe in your own words where and how they add value.
Well, I mean, at the cornerstone of our events is the four E's, right? It's education, it's experience, it's expo. I mean, it's experience. So I think for integrators and end users and even, we've been inviting people who are getting into the AV industry. I think the most important things are getting that industry knowledge through the education. Of course, all of our curriculum is CTS certified. There's no product commercials. I mean, we're very focused on educating the industry. And then we have an amazing lineup of exhibitors that are going to be around, lots of new folks. And, networking is also a big part of that, Dan, as you well know. We were just talking about some of our industry friends that we're looking forward to seeing there. And then also just the whole experience of it's a one-day event. It's free, high quality education in the AV industry. And that's what we've been doing for many years now. And that's what we strive to continue to do.
Yeah, as you say, you've been doing it for many years now. And as I alluded to in my introduction, it's an award-winning experience. I mean, not only from Commercial Integrator, but from others recognizing what E4 experience brings. Let's talk about some of the specifics. For those who are saying, I'm already excited, what should I know? My understanding is that the first E4 experience is on March 5th. Then there's going to be another one on April 16th. You want to just give some basic details, where they're being held, roughly how large they'll be, roughly how many people you're expecting. Just kind of the who, what, where, when, and why, that basic foundation. Then we'll go into more.
Yeah, so we're going to be in Reston, Virginia, in the greater DC area, and then also in Chicago, in that area as well in April. And, DC is always a great event. I think we'll have probably between 400 and 500 people, and then Chicago is probably our marquee event. I think we'll have about 500 folks coming to that event, and it's always a great crowd that comes out for both of those events. We only go there once every 2 years, so people really look forward to us coming back around with the tour. But I think some of the most interesting things that we're going to have on the tour is with one of our newer partners, this little company you may have heard of called Microsoft. And we're going to have a Microsoft Teams room, and we're going to have a couple of different educational sessions, and also talking about AI, which of course is one of the hottest topics in our industry. And we will be introducing some new technologies within the exhibit hall and with our new partner, Microsoft. And talking about how that's influencing our industry. And I think, Dan, one of the most influential things I think that we have brought to the industry is always pushing the envelope. I mean, everybody knows audio. All of our people know displays. They're audio experts. But what's coming down the pipe, right? Networking, USB-C, AI, like how is this influencing our industry? And those are some of the things we're going to be talking about.
And those are such hot topical items, as you say. And I just want to get into the idea of the content and education program, because as you said earlier, it's not like product pitches. This is real, genuine thought leaderships, whether it's thought leadership about Microsoft Teams rooms, whether it's about AI, what you're getting is real, genuine thought leadership content. Do you want to talk about some of the additional education and content sessions attendees can look forward to experiencing either in the DC area or in the Chicago area?
Yeah, well, the curriculum in both locations is the same, which is great. So everybody kind of knows what they're coming to expect. But we've got, Tom Care, who's our in-house person, who's listening and talking to integrators every day about their challenges and experiences. And he's going to be doing a couple of sessions on meeting room implementations. And of course, we're still, in this I hate to say post COVID, but hey, it is what it is, right? I mean, we're all dealing with this hybrid environment, and how do AV integrators, deal with this, and what do they do to make meeting equity, a priority within these organizations? So Tom's going to be talking about that. We also have Joe Cornwall, as you know, is a Hall of Famer. He's going to be talking about USB-C. He's going to talk about some other technologies. So we have a myriad of different technologies that are going to be brought into the topics here at E4 Experience. And I think that there's really something on both the business building side, and there's also on the technology side, that no matter what your role is within the integration community or an educator or an end user, you're going to find something that's going to resonate with you.
I have no doubt about it. One thing that I did find kind of interesting was that Exertis Almo has further democratized the process this time around by inviting members of the industry community to submit some session ideas, proposals, things like that. How has that initiative gone? Is that something you think you may continue with in the future?
Absolutely. I'm always a proponent of bringing new voices into the community, whether that's from adjacent industry, security, as you're covering now, whatever that might be. So we just want to invite people to become a part of the conversation, to understand what's happening in our industry. you know, Traditionally you wouldn't think of AI as the topic that we would be talking about in AV, but it certainly is pertinent to what's going on in our industry.
Talk a little bit about the value of Exertis Almo's partners, or not the value of them, but the value that they get rather from having a place they can bring their customers, their potential customers, their longtime clients, their prospective clients, and allowing them to see and experience new technologies close up. I know, as you say, it's so much more than an exhibit floor, but the exhibit floor is a significant part of the show. And is there a lot of value for Exertis Almo's trusted partners to bring their clients there and say, this is what DVLED looks like. This is what the sound you might be getting with my technology sounds like. It's more experiential. It's less just a spec sheet. Isn't that right?
Absolutely, I agree. And one of my key messages over the past 3 years has been, let our showroom be your showroom for the day. Bring your end users, let them see the technology. So many times they're in there talking about it, but to go in for one day to some, let's just say it's the G company or whatever, and set up an LED wall, it's quite labor intensive. But if they could bring them in, show them this technology, many times for integrators, it's that closing moment. So they bring the end user in, they see it, they understand it. Maybe they're making decision between projection, you know, image mapping. Maybe they're making decisions between direct view LED or a video wall, and they see it, they experience it, which is kind of what the exhibit hall is all about. Um, that might be the audio experience, right? It just depends on what that is. But if we can be the conduit to bring this technology together, the integrators, the end users, and at the end of the day, it makes an impact on their business. And so I always like to say that this is not just an event, it's a business proposition for the
Yeah.
integrator.
And that's exactly the right way to think about it. Quite honestly, having been to a number of them myself, I really do genuinely believe, from our reader's perspective, from the integrator's perspective, it is a business proposition to be there and very much worth the time investment. So let's just talk about vendors briefly. You mentioned, for example, Microsoft Teams rooms. Will there be vendors or vendor presence available at these E4 Experience events this spring that previously perhaps were not at E4 Experiences? And if so, who are they so that people can just kind of further whet their appetite for who they get an opportunity to connect with when they visit?
Yeah, so I think some of the more exciting things that we're going to have on the exhibit for a showroom would be our drone manufacturers. And you might say drones, right? But it's recording, AV. It's visual, right? So it is a part of our industry, and it's a dynamically exploding industry. And also, we're going to have a couple of new vendors with some virtual reality headsets, which is also a very exciting, extenuating industry within that whole segment. So we're going to have a whole section with AR and VR that I think people are going to be pretty excited about seeing.
AR, VR, drones definitely gets my excitement going. I can't wait to check it out. So you've already alluded to some of the things that would be different. You mentioned AR, you mentioned VR, you mentioned drones, you mentioned AI. Any other surprises you might want to hint at? I know you probably can't let everything out of the bag and people until people actually get to the DC area and get to the Chicago area, but anything else you might want to hint at, just to kind of whet our appetite.
Well, I think that the continued proliferation of direct view LED is really important in our industry. And so you're going to see continuing, manufacturers bringing their best, brightest, greatest. And as the ASPs come down on this technology, end users are more and more intrigued by doing refreshes with technology. We just did a huge video shoot out in Minnesota with the big end user installing a new DV LED wall, which was just phenomenal. I mean, you can't believe the refresh rate on these things are just incredible. So, and I'm just a marketing girl, but I don't, I'm just telling you, I'm looking at it and I'm like, wow, this is incredible. So I think you're going to see a lot of great DV LED. You're going to continue to see advancements in projection. And of course, signal distribution. You're going to see all types of different things that are what I would call the connective tissue within the AV industry at this event. We can't, we have our partners with mounting, we have our partners with connectivity, signal distribution. This is all the stuff that makes it all work behind the scenes. So we can't be remiss in saying that these partners are certainly essential into what we're doing.
Yeah, there is no doubt about it. And that kind of a broad partner ecosystem, the E4 experience is anything but siloed. It's talking about everything, as you say, from DVLED to mounting to audio, everything you want to experience, plus emerging technologies like AI and VR and AR and drones. It's such a comprehensive offering. As I say, I'm going to be at the Chicago one. I cannot wait to get back to Chicago and check it out. Is there anything that I have forgotten to ask Melody, or anything that you would like to add on to, or expand on before we wrap up the call?
I think you've covered it all, Dan. We're just very excited to be back on the road, getting people out. I think, one of the most important things about this event is, again, the networking aspect, getting the AV industry together, talking, connecting. So many integrators are hungry for recruiting and getting new people into the industry. This is a prime opportunity for them to take a day out free, you know, thanks to our partners. There's no fees to attend this. Everything's included, but they can really make it a great business proposition for themselves if they just register and come and take the day out. And I know sometimes that's hard, but think about it. There's so many opportunities for them to be a part of.
There are so many opportunities for them to be a part of. It is well worth the time investment. As you say, there's no monetary investment when it comes to integrators. They get to experience all of this for free. It's just an investment of time. And I'm going to be there. I'm going to set everything aside to experience it for myself. I hope integrators do as well. Thank you so much, Melody, for joining me today. Always a pleasure to connect with you. Very much looking forward to seeing you in April in Chicago. But I appreciate you giving us the inside scoop on the E4 experience, the exciting spring E4 experience program.
All right. Thanks, Dan. Thanks for having me on the show. Appreciate it.
My pleasure. So nice, as always, to be joined by Melody Craigmyle, VP Marketing and Communication with Exertis Almo. My name is Dan Farisi, Group Editor, Commercial and Security with Emerald. Please check back on commercialintegrator.com in the weeks and months ahead for more exciting content, including, of course, content about the Exertis Almo E4 experience events taking place in March and April. Thank you again for tuning in, and we'll see you soon.